storm coming in. It was probably about 4 in the afternoon or something when it rolled in, and I knew it was going to be a doozy. I mean, it just seemed like it was a sundog in the morning and a lenticular over the mountain. So yeah, I was definitely concerned, and I was obviously bummed because I wasn't up there with them and taking the beatings. But I kind of knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to get really stormy, really sloughy, such a steep wall. And I was definitely really worried, kind of stressed out, lots of pacing, pumped a few laps around camp. Yeah, and the storm just intensified and didn't hear anything on the radio for quite a while. Probably about 4 hours into the bad weather, I just grabbed a stick of incense from the boys and went over to the little temple and lit a little puja, a little prayer, that everything would be okay for them. I asked Shiva, not usually a spiritual type of guy, but I was pretty sincere when I asked to show some mercy to the boys out there. Yeah, it's definitely eye-opening. Even if you're a seasoned world traveler, India will blow your mind. It's everything's next level. They seem to pull it together, the Indians. They really seem to have this just stick it attitude. They make it happen. The road's pretty rugged and it's like one of the leaf springs cracked. It's from random potholes and madness. And the boys are trying to fix it here. Old school style, they're going to weld it back together. Definitely not going to conform to any sort of CSA approval, but it's going to work. Yeah, they seem to keep it together though pretty well, the Indians, despite all the chaos and the madness that's going on around them. They really just seem to have this kind of, it's going to all be okay attitude, and it's pretty inspiring for sure. I think it might have something to do with everybody's religiousness. They're very spiritual people, lots of praying, not kind of in the ostentatious way, but in the really devout way. They just make their little simple pledges and sincere requests to the gods. We've got so many different gods here. And, I think it really makes life flow a little bit smoother than it does in other countries, despite the madness. Coming to places like this where you see people who are way less fortunate than us, and in a totally chaotic society, totally chaotic world, or so it seems to us. I think when you're back at home, you really can appreciate everything that you have and realize how fortunate we are. We don't have to struggle for our bread every day, and people keep it really simple over here. Life is really distilled.
When I first saw Thalay Sagar, I thought to myself, that looks out of condition, and we can't climb it. But I quickly realized that conditions only got worse, and the only thing that changed was our perspective. wall is a little bit sick, and he's horizontal, which is probably the best position.
I got some sort of new school parasite. I don't know. It's an Indian new school parasite. I've definitely sampled some of his relations before, but this is the first time I've had this one. You can tell he's a little different. He's got a little bit more Shiva in him. Okay, we'll see you guys. See you soon.
Josh and I were pretty overwhelmed now having to take on the task of climbing Thalay Sagar as a team of two. We skimped on all of our provisions. We chose a lighter weight sleeping system and tent and skimmed down the rack and food, and putting on those heavy backpacks, it was daunting because I instantly realized that in the Himalaya, if you want to succeed, you can't take what you need to take way less. It was exceedingly slow, and it was a huge effort to make it up the initial ice face. I knew the effort that we had already expended outweighed my desire to go down by a bunch. And with the end of September drawing near and the October storms, it kind of felt like this was our shot, and we weren't going to back down without a huge fight.
Grade 3 could be so fucking hard.
Physically, the climbing was brutal, and I felt like shit. I felt weighed down by the size of my pack and by my expectations. I just couldn't believe how bad I felt. But, you know, everybody can appreciate the sense of satisfaction that comes with working at your hardest. And we were definitely working at our hardest up there. I just remember being really excited because I was climbing without my backpack on, and it was snowing and spindrifting down on me, and I was getting the full Thalay Sagar spindrift experience that I'd read about for years. And I remember just having so much fun, and really I wasn't that concerned in that moment. I climbed from a good stance out left to a really exposed spot with some thin delaminated ice. And I was just getting pounded by spindrift, and you know, I couldn't even glance upward, and I knew immediately that the situation was getting much worse and that we probably needed to go down in some capacity. So I did what I could to equalize 3 marginal screws into a anchor and fix the rope, and called down to Josh that, you know, it was probably time to descend.
A little cave of pain.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is super awesome at all. But it'll do.
It'll do.
We're at what? Just over 6,000?
Yeah, 6'1".
Yeah. Now we're just living it.
I've never been a success-orientated person. I've always endeavored to find joy in the process. It's important to take joy in failure and take joy in desperate situations. You have to remind yourself that this is exactly what you've come for, and this is the reason why you're here, and you have to embrace and enjoy every moment of life.